What's going on, YouTube? It's Jeff Tuffner here on the Glorious Podcast. This is episode 28, and this is the Smackdown Live review for the August 29th, 2017 edition. A Smackdown Live that was somewhat good. I just feel like every week it's kind of like this anymore. I mean, I thought it was better than last week's. Even with Bobby Roode showing up last week, I thought this show tonight was much better than last week's, but I mean, it was an okay show. It was an okay show. But there are things I have to complain about. Things I have to get off my chest regarding the show tonight and the future of SmackDown. Okay, so let's talk about how the show opened. The show opens with Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers in one of the most awkward segments I've ever watched, which was about to end in the Singh brothers kissing Jinder Mahal's feet. I don't know what was happening. I was lost. Pretty much everybody watching the show was lost during this segment. But thank God Shinsuke Nakamura shows up, saves that disaster, and it was announced that they would have a tag match again. It would be Nakamura teaming with Orton to take on Mahal and Rusev in the main event. And as soon as they announced that, I already lost interest in the show because, guys, every single freaking week, the main event of SmackDown is a tag team match. Can they do anything different? It's just tag team match after tag team match after tag team match. Every week, it's they change the people up, but it's the same thing. There's nothing to it. So I mean, it's just the main event of SmackDown is the same thing every week, and it's gotten old a long time ago. I mean, that was always how it was back when SmackDown wasn't live, and then ever since they're going live, at least recently, in the last let's just say 5-6 months, just 2017 in general. As far as I can remember, practically every week, the main event is a tag team match, and it's just nothing to it. It's like they just don't do anything different. So I immediately just get pissed. I'm just like, oh, this show's going to suck. It's a tag team main event again. Same shit as always. But, the show overall wasn't bad. It was a decent show. I mean, like I said, I didn't really pay attention at all to the main event. I'm not going to lie. I just can't care to watch another tag team match. It didn't interest me, and it doesn't interest many people. I know I'm not the only one sitting there complaining when they heard a tag team match was announced once again for the main event of SmackDown. Anyway, though, they waste the entire about first 15 minutes. It's just Nakamura, Mahal, and Rusev and Orton all brawling in the ring. They have a match later in the night, and they're also starting the first 15 minutes of the show with them. So they're wasting way too much time on them. I mean, you add that all up, it comes out to be about a half an hour. That's 25% of SmackDown it was spent on Nakamura, Mahal, Orton, and Rusev just to build up their little tag team main event, including the match itself. So that was just ridiculous. I mean, that's 25% of SmackDown, and you wonder why they can't get faces on every week. You know what I mean? You wonder why you don't see certain people every week on SmackDown. It's because of stuff like that. They're just wasting time that they could be using for something important. So that's how the show starts. I didn't enjoy the show starting. The first 15 minutes, I wanted to just turn the TV off. But then they announced AJ Styles is going to have an open challenge, which is intriguing. It interests me. That makes me feel a little bit better about the show. I'm looking forward to that. So Baron Corbin backstage gets an interview. He says he's going to be the one to do it, to take the challenge and all. But then when Styles comes out, Ty Dillinger ends up confronting him and taking the challenge. But then Corbin attacks him, and then Dillinger and Styles have like a 10-second match. It wasn't 10 seconds. I'd say about 45 seconds to a minute. Why? Like, Ty Dillinger, you just buried him again. I mean, him and Styles could have put on an amazing match. You take away the nonsense that they put on the beginning of the show with Jinder Mahal, Orton, Nakamura, and Rusev brawl in that segment that went about 15 minutes. You could have put on a 15-minute match between Ty Dillinger and AJ Styles that would have been phenomenal. That would have been one of them, talked about matches. You remember when Cena had all the U.S. Open challenges a few years ago on Raw and everything? Remember, every week we'd look forward to those matches because they were good. So they could do that with AJ Styles. Tonight was a perfect opportunity. Ty Dillinger versus AJ Styles. Everybody loved to see that match. But they didn't give us it. They just went about a minute long, and then that's it. And then they just, they're building up a Corbin and Styles feud down the road. It doesn't make any sense to me. Why did they do that? They should be giving it just pisses me off when I see that they spend the first 15 minutes on what they did in that awful segment and everything that just turned into a brawl. And they could have spent it on Styles versus Dillinger, which would have been a great match, and they just made it a minute match because somebody in booking, I swear, it's just the same story on SmackDown anymore with the booking. I mean, I went off about this in my Raw review. It's just clueless booking. Dude, how do you, I just don't understand how they don't realize this simple stuff. This is so obvious. Nobody wants to watch Mahal or in Nakamura and Rusev brawl for 15 minutes and then end up having another 15-minute tag team match in the main event. Many people would rather watch Ty Dillinger versus AJ Styles for the U.S. title for about 10 to 15-minute match. That would make more sense. But WWE doesn't want to do that. The creative team is just, they're the most uncreative group of people I've ever heard of. You know what I mean? I don't know how you can call them creative team. I'm just going to have to start calling them the uncreative team because they are easily the most uncreative people I've ever heard of. They just can't do anything right. Anyway, let's take a step back here on this, right? I kind of jumped ahead and started talking about the AJ Styles stuff here. We get to witness the re-debut of Shelton Benjamin. Obviously, Benjamin's been away from the company for, 7 years now? And now, it was supposed to come back last year. That didn't happen. Got hurt, got surgery and everything. And then a whole year later, finally, Shelton Benjamin shows up on SmackDown. And he will be teaming with Chad Gable. We all know the story with Chad Gable. I'm not going to have to get into that here. But nonetheless, they're a team. They have a match against the Ascension. And I can't believe the Ascension are alive. I thought the Ascension were dead, but they're alive. They should send the Ascension back to NXT if they're thinking about sending people to NXT. I mean, the only thing the Ascension are going to be for are putting over new teams on SmackDown. Just to, kill time. But nonetheless, Benjamin and Gable, it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. The match itself was good. Benjamin looked great in the ring and everything. Gable was great too. So they won the match, obviously. The Ascension ain't winning shit anymore. But they won the match. They have music. The music's okay, I think. It's better. WWE's been pumping out new music just about every week now. But this music was some of the better music, I think. I think this theme will be definitely a better one than most themes. So I am okay with it for now. We'll see how it goes. It did kind of look awkward, though. They didn't really... It'll be interesting if they can kind of get, some type of chemistry going or whatever, because it just seemed awkward, them teaming together for the first time, you know what I mean? I mean, they got a good reaction. The crowd definitely popped for seeing Shelton Benjamin. And like I've said before, bringing in Shelton Benjamin, putting him with Gable will definitely get Gable over more because people know who Benjamin is. So, you know what I mean? It will get Gable more reaction too. So that's a smart idea by WWE there. I hope the team works out. I am looking forward to see what they do because SmackDown's tag team division is thin as can be right now. I mean, we had to watch the Usos take on the New Day for the 900th time in the last month tonight as well. We'll get into that a little bit later, but Shelton Benjamin is back in WWE, so that's good. So things are moving along slightly good. Baron Corbin, we already talked about that. Getting a feud between AJ Styles. As for that feud down the road, I don't really care for it, to be honest. I've really lost any interest in Baron Corbin. They've just destroyed him. I legit wouldn't have minded this a few months ago if he still had the briefcase and they didn't screw everything up with him. But they screwed everything up with him. They took the briefcase out of him. They had him lose to Cena at WrestleMania. SummerSlam. That just doesn't make any sense. Now I could give a shit about what Baron Corbin's doing, to be honest with you. Really don't care for an AJ Styles Baron Corbin feud. I mean, they did it. They succeeded. WWE. Congratulations, WWE. You succeeded at making everybody just not give a shit about Baron Corbin anymore. Bobby Roode shows up on SmackDown again. Obviously, he made his debut last week. He takes on Mike Kanellis, who's also making a rare appearance on SmackDown. Mike Kanellis pretty much puts over Bobby Roode, and why don't they use Mike Kanellis? I honestly think the best thing for Mike Kanellis right now would to put him in NXT. NXT would work out perfect for him right now. It's just the main roster. There's just nowhere really for him. Even if you move him to Raw, it wouldn't really work. I think they should really move him to NXT. A move to NXT for him would be really good for him. I mean, it just really hasn't worked out on SmackDown for him. Unfortunately, I mean, him and Maria, it was highly anticipated, to see him on the show. Everybody was excited. I was excited. Everyone was when they finally showed up, but they just haven't done anything with him, and now he's out here just putting over Bobby Roode. Like, I was excited for this match. I saw Mike Kanellis versus Bobby Roode. I'm like, oh, this should be good. And then it's just a quick, not even 3 minutes, I don't think, match. I mean, this is where the whole idea of just SmackDown. I was just complaining about how quick AJ Styles versus Ty Dillinger was, and in this match here could have been a good, solid match. And I don't even think it's a matter of the time the show can go for 2 hours. It could use, like I've said 1,000 times before, an extra 15 to 30 minutes on the show. It would help a lot. And then sometimes it's just a matter of nonsense they put on, like tonight when they wasted the first 15 minutes on the show with Jinder Mahal and the Singh brothers, and then the brawl that ensued after that. It's just pointless stuff like that that they're wasting time on. What do we get next? Kevin Owens comes out and interrupts Aiden English. I saw Aiden English in the ring. I'm like, who the hell is he going to put over this week? And then Kevin Owens' music hits, and I'm just like, whatever. And then Aiden English just leaves the ring. KO tells him to leave the ring. And then KO cuts a promo on Shane McMahon. McMahon comes out. They cut promos on each other, whatever. And then Sami Zayn versus Aiden English happens. Kevin Owens puts himself in the match, as the referee, and basically takes out Sami Zayn. It gives Aiden English the win. We're gonna get a Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon feud. It's basically started already. It's not a matter of when's it gonna happen. It's happening. The match now is the question: when will it happen? And like I've said before, Hell in the Cell is the next pay-per-view for SmackDown. I would die to see Kevin Owens or Shane McMahon inside Hell in the Cell. That would be an amazing match. So it looks like that's the route they're going. I cannot wait for that match to be announced. I'm pretty sure it will be. I hope it's a Hell in a Cell match. I'd be so pissed if they don't do a Hell in a Cell match and they just do a regular match. That match would just make perfect sense for the Hell in a Cell. So hopefully that's the case with them. What else do we have? The New Day taking on the Usos. And the winner of the match gets to decide the stipulation for the match they'll have. I don't know when they said, if it's next week, 2 weeks from now, or just whenever, the next match they have. Whenever the New Day invoke the rematch clause. So, this is what I don't get. You have the New Day take on the Usos. The winner gets to pick the match for the next match they have. Why do you have them? I hate this. Why? They could have done a one-on-one match. They could have did, Big E versus one of the Usos. Did that, and then whoever wins gets to pick a stipulation for their team. Now, I'm not a big fan of when it's just tag one person of a tag team taking on another person of a tag team. But then again, it's not like we're seeing that 1,000 times. It's the actual tag team match we're seeing 1,000 times. Just the New Day taking on the Usos over and over again. It's just about every week now. Over on Raw, it's a little different. I complain about how it's Seth Rollins versus Cesaro just about every week. Their matches are good. I enjoy their matches, Seth Rollins and Cesaro. It's just, I don't want to see it every single week. Do something different. So that's the same situation here on SmackDown with the New Day and the Usos. They need to do something different. So I would have much rather seen just one member of the New Day take on just one member of the Usos, and then the winner picks the stipulation for another match sometime down the road, whenever that is. But the Usos end up winning the match, and they get to pick the stipulation. They didn't pick it yet, so we'll see what that will be. But it looks like another match will happen. And on another good note, Xavier Woods didn't appear to be completely hurt. He was wearing a brace on his knee. Obviously, I did a video on him getting injured at a live event last night not on Raw, but there was WWE was running another live event that he was on, and SmackDown roster and everybody, and he got hurt, knee injury, so I was worried that it's something serious. It doesn't appear to be completely serious. Like I said, he was wearing a brace on SmackDown tonight, so hopefully it's nothing serious, and I'll keep you guys up to date on if any news drops on that right here on the Glories Podcast. But yeah, the Usos win the match. We'll see what the stipulation is, when the match is. I don't know. They might have even said the match is next week, and I might not even have heard it. But I don't know. We'll see. We get another interview with Dolph Ziggler backstage. Remember last week when he said, he was going to, show up this week and be a completely different person? Well, nope. That's getting held off again for some reason. I guess, well, maybe it is the reason that everything gets held off on SmackDown. Maybe they just ran out of time again. Or maybe they did. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they're still working on something here. I actually think it might actually be the other way around. They might be working on something. I don't think it was a time reasoning for Dolph Ziggler not, debuting his whole new gimmick or whatever. It is supposedly the case that he will be feuding with Bobby Roode just to put over Bobby Roode, which whatever. I mean, he put over Nakamura. He's going to put over Roode. That's basically his role anymore. Just put over the new guys coming up from NXT. And as for a lot of people are pissed that Bobby Roode is a face and not a heel yet. I'm pretty sure he will turn heel. I said within the next 2 months on Twitter. I'm pretty sure within the next 2 months, Bobby Roode will turn heel. Expect him to see a little bit of a face run. But if it's a feud with Ziggler, expect Ziggler to put him over. And then after the Ziggler feud, you'll see Bobby Roode go heel because a lot of people prefer heel Bobby Roode over face Bobby Roode. So expect to see that sometime soon. What else? The Fashion Files are back, which I have missed severely. It's been, 2 weeks since we've last had an episode of the Fashion Files on SmackDown? But nonetheless, they are back again, and it was amazing as always. The Fashion Files, they're always good. They're a good part of SmackDown. They're something everybody looks forward to, and they were good again tonight. And to continue, we see some hints at who's been attacking the fact that their office, trashing their office over the past weeks. Who's been attacking them? And the speculation is leading to that it could be the Authors of Pain from NXT, which would be very interesting. I mean, there was a real hint tonight. So, is it the Authors of Pain? I don't know. I wouldn't mind that. SmackDown, like I said, SmackDown could use some tag teams. Their tag team division's thin. I mean, you put Shelton Benjamin and Chad Gable together and maybe bring up the Authors of Pain from NXT. You throw them in there, have a feud with Breeze Dango. That would work out good. But they really hinted at it tonight in that episode of Fashion Files. So, we'll see where this goes. We'll see if we ever see anybody show up. I mean, they've been really running with this one for a while now. I mean, remember, this goes all the way back to Money in the Bank. The Money in the Bank pay-per-view in the beginning of June. Everybody thought that's when we were going to find out who was attacking them, who trashed their office. And here we are. We're about to hit September. We're after SummerSlam, and we still don't know who it is. So I don't know how much longer we're going to have to wait to find out who it is. But I don't know. I feel like it is the Authors of Pain. So hopefully, that'll be cool to see them come up, though. SmackDown could really use that, like I said. What do we got next? Tamina versus a jobber. Who cares? I mean, the match was just pointless. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with Tamina. Are they really about to build her up? And then they have Lana. Now it doesn't make any sense. I don't even want to talk about that. What else happened on SmackDown? The main event, the big tag match everybody was excited for. Whatever, tag match. Like I said, didn't watch really any of it. I watched about the last 5 minutes of it. Nothing. I didn't care for anything. And we didn't even get to see Shinsuke Nakamura's entrance. So, I mean, it was a real disappointment. I mean, they legit cut back from commercial break, and Nakamura is just finishing up his entrance. I was like, you got to be kidding me. We don't even get to see his entrance? I mean, at least, I'd look forward to at least seeing that. But we don't even get to see Nakamura's entrance. They did announce that next week, Nakamura will take on Randy Orton in a match to determine the number one contender for the WWE Championship. Now, it's pretty predictable, I would say, for this match, that Shinsuke Nakamura will win, because why would they go back to Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal again? Remember, they just had 3 consecutive matches at pay-per-views and stuff, and that just got over with him. And then we got Nakamura versus Mahal at SummerSlam. Mahal obviously won, so I feel like it would end up being Nakamura winning, which a win over Orton would help Nakamura. It would kind of build him up more. Not that he needs to be built up more, but it would, it would win. It would help him. But that is supposedly going to be the main event of the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, Nakamura versus Mahal, which isn't the most intriguing match, like I said before, just like their SummerSlam match. Not really the best match. I don't know. Maybe they'll do better. The Hell in the Cell will be there. I think it would be. It should be in the Hell in the Cell if it's the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view. And it's the WWE title on the line, so expect to hear that match announced. Well, if Nakamura wins next week, but I do think he will win next week. So nonetheless, they have the match, whatever, nothing special happens in the match. But after the match, right before the show went off the air, after Orton and Nakamura pick up the win, Orton hits an RKO on Nakamura. Now, I don't know if this is going to be a Randy Orton heel turn, or is this just whatever, building up for that match next week? But if it is a Randy Orton heel turn, that's good news, because Randy Orton as a face has been probably the most boringest thing lately. So if they turn in him heel, and this isn't just let's build up the match next week, which unfortunately I think that's what it was, that would be good news there. But they have Orton hit an RKO on Nakamura to close the show out, and then they have their match next week. So that's it, though, guys, for SmackDown. I mean, like I've said before, not the best episode of SmackDown, but an okay, it will do episode of SmackDown. I'm not completely pissed, like, oh, this show was awful. You know what I mean? I can't watch this garbage anymore. It was okay. It wasn't great, but it was okay. It will do. Let me know what you guys thought of the show in the comment section below. Go follow me over on all the social media accounts, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and the Glorious Podcast Twitter. All them links will be listed in the description below. As always, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow with some more news right here on the Glorious Podcast.